Read as I see it, exclusively at ZNNSBahamas.com. New articles premiere on Mondays at 9 a.m.
In 1953, the United States began using a female name for storms. And by 1978, both male and female names were used to identify northern Pacific storms. This was then adopted in 1979 for storms in the Atlantic Basin. The National Hurricane Center does not control the naming of tropical storms. Instead, there is a strict procedure established by the World's Meteorological Organization for Atlantic hurricanes. There is a list of male and female names which are used on a 6-year rotation. The only time that there is a change is if the storm is so deadly or costly that the future use of its name on a different storm would be inappropriate. These are the names of the storms for the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season: Andrea, Barry, Chantal, Dexter, Erin, Fernand, Gabrielle, Umberto, Imelda, Jerry, Karen, Lorenzo, Melissa, Nestor, Olga, Pablo, Rebecca, Sebastian, Tanya, Van, Wendy. This public service announcement was brought to you by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in conjunction with the Disaster Risk Management Authority.
Your #1 team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Raven Davis.
And I'm Jay Philippe.
Thank you so much for tuning in. The Bahamas Tonight is coming your way next.
ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
First at 11. Tropical storm Erin expected to become a major hurricane by the weekend, with forecasts showing the slow-moving storm moving northwest in the coming days. Also, more details on the legal proceedings surrounding the Bahamian law enforcement officers and other Bahamians in custody in the United States indicted on drug trafficking charges. And an end of an era, the British High Commissioner Thomas Hartley bids farewell to the Bahamas. The Bahamas Tonight at 11 starts now.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. In a matter of hours, Tropical Storm Erin is expected to intensify and is predicted to move towards warmer waters, which will allow it to strengthen into a Category 3 hurricane late into the weekend. The slow-moving storm has already killed some 7 people due to intense flooding caused by severe thunderstorms in the Cabo Verde Islands. Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean leads us off tonight at 11 with details on Erin and its potential impact in the Atlantic. Good evening, and thanks for joining us with the latest, Basil.
Good evening, Royston. That intensification process has begun. Erin now packing winds of about 50 miles per hour, and by tomorrow afternoon, we expect it to become a hurricane, a Category 1, and a major hurricane as we head into the weekend. By Sunday, we could see that Category 3 taking place. But the good news is the majority of our computer models are all suggesting that there will be a significant turn towards the north, and once that happens, that will keep it well to the east of the Bahamas. But heading into next week, there will certainly be some moderate to large sea swells generated by the system, so the more eastern islands of the Bahamas will have to deal with some large swells as we head into next week. Bryson.
Thank you for that update, Basil. Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis received a detailed update on the country's preparations for Tropical Storm Erin from the Disaster Risk Management Authority and its stakeholders at the Office of the Prime Minister this morning. According to Managing Director Aaron Sargent, the Prime Minister was briefed about the possibility of the storm's impact on the country over the next few days.
While the storm is in its early stages, we are anticipating to get further details from the Department of Meteorology over the next few days as to the potential impacts, if any, to the Bahamas. Additionally, we would have briefed Prime Minister on the shelter availability, shelter capacities throughout the country, noting where there may be challenges that exist, noting the plans of the authority in its response in terms of evacuations and whether evacuation orders would be needed. Additionally, we provided the Prime Minister with updates as it relates to our national disaster readiness exercises that started in June, which then segued into the regional disaster readiness exercises that culminated last week in Abaco.
Meanwhile, Bahamas Power and Light officials remain vigilant amid reports that Tropical Storm Erin is headed for the Caribbean. Now, while forecasters predict it will not make a direct hit, BPL Chief Operating Officer Anthony Christie maintains the company is still taking all precautionary measures.
We see Hurricane Erin approaching. We anticipate by Sunday we'll know exactly what is going to happen to it, whether it's going to turn or come more toward the south. And again, our teams are just bracing themselves and making sure that they're able to respond to any incident that impacts them, flooding or pole damage or otherwise. So yeah, we have our managers every day or every week would update me in regard to that. As a storm approaches, we tend to up the protocol in terms of the meetings and making sure the resources are available. New Providence will indeed support all of the islands as needed in order to make sure that when we do have an impact, we're able to bounce back or restore as quickly as possible.
Meanwhile, the Met Office has announced that a heat warning is in effect for the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands. The Southeast Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands will experience a severe heat wave, 112 to 122 degrees Fahrenheit, while the remainder of the Bahamas will experience excessive heat of 102 to 111 degrees Fahrenheit for the next 3 to 5 days. The Ministry of Health and Wellness further advises residents that heat waves can lead to greater risk of heat-related illnesses and even death. Illnesses can range from mild symptoms such as heat cramps and exhaustion to dizziness and fainting spells, as well as painful body cramps at the end of an extended exercise routine. Anyone who becomes confused, extremely drowsy, or unconscious needs to seek emergency medical help. Heat stroke can be fatal if not treated promptly. Vulnerable populations, including the elderly, children, and those with pre-existing health conditions, are particularly susceptible to these dangers. The ministry, in collaboration with its partners, encourages the public to keep cool and well hydrated, limit time spent outdoors, wear light, breathable clothing, wear a head covering, and equally important, apply sunscreen. Frightening moments for residents in one community this afternoon as a man was gunned down right in the street in broad daylight. Tonight, the manhunt is on for the suspects behind this latest incident, which occurred shortly before 5 this afternoon along Lexington Avenue and Wolf Road in the Coconut Grove area. Police press liaison officer, Chief Superintendent Sharia King, says the male victim was in his 20s and was being electronically monitored for a serious offense.
The victim was standing outside of a residence in this area when a dark-colored Japanese vehicle pulled up. One male occupant exited that vehicle, opened fire on the victim. The victim ran just north of that residence when that same male suspect gave chase and continued to discharge gunshots in the direction of the victim.
This incident comes on the heels of Saturday's mass shooting in nearby Ridgeland Park West, which claimed 2 lives and wounded 5 others. Early this week, police, clergy, political, and community leaders led a walkabout in the Engliston area as a way to put residents' mind at ease and as a show of force to potential criminals that law and order prevails. Chief Superintendent King stressing this afternoon that the focus has not changed.
I said earlier this week that the Royal Bahamas Police Force will remain and steadfast in maintaining law and order in the Bahamas. And we continue to carry out that mandate. We will be determined and continue to be determined in finding these perpetrators who are committing these acts and make certain they get justice.
Nearly 1,500 illegal firearms encased at the Royal Bahamas Police Force Training College in Oaksfield today. The act made possible due to the Mines Advisory Group, CARICOM Impacts, and the U.S. Embassy, which donated a specialized gun encasement machine. Vaughn Albee reports that this latest donation marks a significant step in removing firearms from our communities.
Weapons seized by police were placed in a reinforced pit and permanently encased in Oaks Field. The Minister of National Security, the Honorable Wayne Monroe, stating that the act is both literal and symbolic.
Well, it's about ending the life cycle of a firearm. A firearm comes into being by creation. It can be illicitly trafficked, it could be used in crime, or in some of these cases, it could be used in the ordinary course of law enforcement. Well, to terminate the life cycle, you not only destroy it, but you have to, as you see there, encase it in concrete so that it could never, ever live again in any way.
Recently, police arrested a number of young men found with AK-47 rifles. Authorities say cases like that indicate a disturbing trend involving young individuals and high-powered assault weapons.
Prime Minister has also sent out a clarion call recently. We need cooperation from the Bahamian public. As he expresses it, if you know your son has a gun, if you know somebody may be coming to kill your son, that may bring death to your doorstep. And so you should be telling the police where you know of these firearms existing. Because it's all well and good. Somebody may come for your son and you may find yourself crying for him in the road. But what is worse, and what has happened here already, is somebody comes for your son and you are in the car.
Underscoring their commitment to public safety, the Minister of National Security, the Commissioner of Police, and senior officials including Defense Force Commodore Floyd Moxey and Kimberly Furnish, U.S. Chargé d'Affaires, witnessed Wednesday's encasement. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Vaughn Albury.
Thanks for the reporting, Vaughn. While the police continuing to take even more guns off the streets, Operation Black Scorpion officers seized a firearm shortly before 8 o'clock this morning in the Bay Geranium Avenue area near the baseball field. They confiscated the illegal weapon in a bushy area. However, no arrests were made. Also, a 45-year-old female is in police custody this afternoon after Operation Black Scorpion officers confiscated a high-powered weapon along with a quantity of suspected marijuana in a South Beach residence shortly before 5:30 this morning. Police confirmed the suspected marijuana has an estimated weight of 11.3 pounds with an estimated street value of $11,300. An investigation into both matters continue. Police fire officers here in New Providence extinguished a structural fire at an East Street South business establishment around 3:30 this afternoon. When officers arrived on scene, they met the top section of a two-story stone structure engulfed in flames. The fire's aftermath revealed that the building's top left section was destroyed and the bottom section sustained soot and water damage. There were no injuries reported. The cause of the fire is unknown at this time. Bahamian law enforcement officers named in a United States indictment accusing them of providing sensitive law enforcement information to drug traffickers, protecting them from investigation and arrest, and helping them with logistics of moving massive shipments of cocaine from Colombia through the Bahamas and into the U.S., did indeed have their day in court. Felicity Darville has been following the case and has this update tonight.
ZNS News has reported on the agonizing wait for Chief Superintendent Elvis Nathaniel Curtis, former Chief Petty Officer Darren Roker, and others as they sit in the Brooklyn Federal Prison known as the Metropolitan Detention Center. The prison is said to be rife with issues from unsanitary conditions and extensive lockdowns to overcrowding now that it's packed with ICE immigration detainees as well. But the latest reports reaching our newsroom on Wednesday morning indicate that Curtis and his co-accused did have the opportunity to appear before Judge Gregory H. Woods on Tuesday. It was a status conference for Elvis Nathaniel Curtis, Darren Alexander Roker, William Simeon, Ulrich Jean-Baptiste, and their Colombian co-accused, Luis Fernando Orozco Toro. Curtis was present in the New York Southern District Court along with his counsel Joshua Stevens. Roker was present with an attorney he retained himself, Martin L. Roth. Simeon was present with court-appointed counsel Valerie Gottlieb. Jean-Baptiste with court-appointed counsel Benjamin Silverman. Defendant Orozco Toro was not present due to a production oversight, but his court-appointed counsel David Tuger was present. Orozco Toro did appear before Judge Woods today. The court directed all parties to be prepared to propose a schedule for motions, hearing, and trial at the next status conference. That conference is scheduled to take place on October 24th, 2025 at 9:30 a.m. Time is excluded from the speedy trial clock through that date for all defendants in the interest of justice. Court reporter Chris Sellen confirmed that all named defendants will continue being detained at MDC Brooklyn until their next status conference, which should bring some real movement to their case. This is a case we will continue to follow. Felicity Darville for the Bahamas Tonight.
Thanks for the excellent reporting, Felicity. False, made up, and has no basis in fact. That's how the government is branding social media messages indicating that cabinet ministers and senior officials are part of a United States indictment. The government's false information alert verified that when there is an increase in political activity, their rapid response unit quickly checks what's true and sets the record straight. The government urges the public not to share this message and retrieve news directly from official statements and reputable news outlets. Still to come, the British High Commissioner bids farewell to the Bahamas. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight at 11. More news in just a moment.
Step into a life of luxury and convenience with the Commonwealth Bank Platinum Card. From earning premium cashback rewards on every dollar spent to enjoying comprehensive travel insurance, shop with confidence, knowing your purchases are protected. Our Platinum Concierge service turns your requests into reality, wherever life takes you. Let the Commonwealth Bank Platinum Card be your passport to exceptional experiences. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Welcome to the Intra-African Trade Fair 2025, the gateway to abundant opportunity, the platform for more, access to a continent with more makers and creators, more technology and manufacturing capabilities, more innovators and collaborators, more information and knowledge, a continent of opportunities for business in more markets and resources that accelerate progress and create space for more infrastructure, connectivity and networking, more creativity, production, and more deals for the people. Afrexim Bank, in collaboration with the African Union Commission and the AFCFTA Secretariat, brings you the 4th Intra-African Trade Fair, hosted by the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria. Over 2,000 exhibitors, 35,000 plus attendees, 140 plus countries, $44 billion in trade and investment opportunities. Register now and enter the gateway to new opportunities.
Senators debated and passed the Parliamentary Elections Amendment Bill 2025 in the upper chamber Wednesday. Fern Carey reports tonight that the legislation will modernize the electoral process in the country.
Attorney General Senator the Honourable Ryan Pinder opened debate on the Parliamentary Elections Amendment Bill 2025. The legislation supports the introduction of biometric voters' cards and the biometric Parliamentary Elections Register. It brings the Bahamas in line with global trends towards a more secure and modern elections. Senator Pinder stressed that the legislation speaks to voter registration only and does not have any bearing on physical voting or the tabulation of election results.
We envision that this system will be fully complete and rolled out, and biometric cards and a digital registration system will be in place as of January of 2026. I think it's important to note, Mr. Chair, this is an important piece of information, that approximately 80% of the registered voters have an e-passport, which contains the biometric data of your photograph and fingerprints of the passport holders.
The Attorney General says since this biometric information already exists in e-passports, voters will just have to consent to a smooth transfer of their data to the biometric cards. The legislation also paves the way for more flexibility and efficiency in conducting general elections.
Proposed amendments to sections 32 and 35 of the Act will provide the Parliamentary Registration Department adequate time to prepare for the advanced poll and the general election once Parliament has been dissolved. Consequently, the Parliamentary Registration Department has been challenged, as I said, to facilitate the conduct of these elections in the mandated time frame. In fact, they will tell you that it's not the actual internal mechanics of the department that's the challenge. It's some of the physical characteristics, such as printing the ballot.
Senator Pinder also indicated that the Data Protection Act will be enacted before the anticipated rollout of the biometric framework and will especially address biometric data and data protection. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Fern Carey.
Thanks, Fern. In her contribution to debate on the Parliamentary Elections Amendment Bill 2025, opposition Senator Michaela Barnett Ellis agreed that the measures will align the Bahamas with global best practices. However, she expressed concern about introducing major technical challenges before a general election.
We see the PLP trying to fast-track a system that will collect our most sensitive personal data without first showing in black and white how it will be protected, without having in black and white legislation that the will to adequately protect it.
Meanwhile, British High Commissioner to the Bahamas, His Excellency Thomas Hartley, is bidding the country farewell in a matter of days. During his 2-year tenure, he boasted how Bahamians everywhere have made him and his family feel right at home. Our West Calix Forbes attended the High Commissioner's farewell reception at Cafe Channing Noel at the Caves yesterday afternoon.
His Excellency British High Commissioner Thomas Hartley has served in the Bahamas since August 2022. His focus has been on strengthening the ties between two countries through trade, education, security, and culture exchange.
Sadly, this end of this week is my end of my 3 years. It's gone so quickly. It's quite incredible. I still feel like I'm in my first year, and yet it's coming to an end. It's been such a wonderful time. We have been made to feel so welcome in the Bahamas, and we have 5 times as many scholarships now as we did when we started. We've donated 10,000 pages from our national archives to help with the history curriculum. We've hosted diplomats for a day. We've sponsored Learn to Sail programs. We've donated musical instruments to schools in Cat Island and Eleuthera, and we've supported British teachers and speeches at schools. We've done a huge amount in the education space.
Under High Commissioner Hartley's leadership, the United Kingdom hosted its first trade mission to the Bahamas in over 2 decades, encouraging investment in areas such as tourism, energy, and financial services, while fostering closer cooperation between the Royal Bahamas Defense Force and Royal Navy in areas such as maritime security and disaster preparedness.
The type of country the Bahamas wants to be, whether facing the US, facing Europe, open to trade, focused on Bahamians, where people are going to go to school, the type of jobs to be in the Bahamas. I think this conversation, is still to happen. I think a new national development plan would be the right place to have that conversation and to really think beyond the politics, beyond the election.
As Hartley prepares to leave the Bahamas in a matter of days, he boasts about his successor.
I'm very pleased that my replacement is a very wonderful diplomat, a lady called Smita Rossetti. Like me, she's a career public servant. She was previously in Morocco and before that in Jerusalem. She's a fluent Arabic speaker from all of that time, and she's going to come with a whole new set of energy and new enthusiasm for the Bahamas.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Wes Calix Forbes.
Wishing His Excellency all the best in his new role. Al-Majal Knowles has a look at what's coming up in sports tonight. Take it away, Al-Majal.
And Lamar Taylor continuing to heat up the pool over in Paraguay. Details of that story and more coming up in sports.
Your home is your sanctuary. The last thing you need to worry about is rodents. Once they enter your property, they can be tough to get out. If you're concerned about rodents, call Rent-A-Kill Initial. We offer the latest, most effective treatment for safe, fast, and long-lasting results. From prevention to elimination, our integrated approach guarantees protection. For rodent control you can trust, there's only one name in the Bahamas: Rent-A-Kill Initial.
Welcome to your Wednesday Sports Check, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports over in the pool. Lamar Taylor continuing to build on perhaps one of the most dominant careers amongst male swimmers in Bahamian history. The 22-year-old adding to his collection of medals on Tuesday, winning the bronze in the men's 100-meter free at the 2025 Junior Pan American Games in Asunción, Paraguay. Taylor stopping the clock in a new national record time of 48.51 seconds at the Olympic Aquatic Center in Asunción. Taylor is the only Bahamian swimmer to crack 50 seconds and also boasts the top 14 fastest times in the event. As for the bronze medal, it is the second medal picked up for the 242 at this year's Games and the third overall for the Bahamas in the event's history. From the NBA, Kai Jones currently in talks with the Miami Heat. This revealed earlier this week from NBA insider Chris Haynes. Jones is currently working out for the team while the Heat considers their roster options just ahead of training camp. Jones, the 19th overall pick in the 2021 NBA draft, played for the Los Angeles Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks during the 2024-2025 season. He appeared in 40 games, averaging 5 points and 3 rebounds in just over 11 minutes per game. Starting the season on a two-way contract with the Clippers, Jones was waived in early March after roster moves. The Mavericks then signed him to help bolster their injury-depleted front court. Jones improved his output, averaging 11 points and 6 rebounds in 12 games across 6 starts. Still in hoops, the grandson of a local basketball legend is carving out his own path as a rising basketball prospect on the U.S. hoop circuit. Our intern Swanson Gibson Jr. tells us more.
Keitho Johnson is the latest Bahamian basketball prospect, taking his talents to the United States to advance to the next level. The 6'6" guard recently committed to Veritas Academy, an institution based in California, possessing some of the best high school basketball talents within the U.S.
Just another opportunity from God. Like, since I was young, I've been praying to play on the biggest stage, you know, where the whole world could see me. So now I get the opportunity, I just got to produce.
Johnson will join Javez Colby and Woody Ching at Veritas, establishing a Bahamian trio. Johnson talks Colby courting him for the commitment.
He just was telling me, he's like, bro, come here, we could be the next big two coming out of the Bahamas. And then he, like, just was explaining the process of how much better he's gotten in the span of a year.
Johnson is the grandson of Bahamian basketball player Charlie Softly Robbins, known for his contributions as a player, coach, and president for the Bahamas Basketball Federation. The 17-year-old hooper discussed drawing inspiration from his grandfather.
When he was my age, he said he was the best in the Bahamas. And then I always told him when I was young I wanted to go abroad to play basketball. And he was like, every summer I come to Freeport, I have to show him that I'm ready to take that step. So, like, him just always being a backbone, you know, always being on me, staying consistent. Even him at his old age, still taking me to the courts to work out. So I appreciate him for being there.
And Veritas coach George Zadon gave his perspective on Johnson's commitment and the Bahamian basketball landscape.
I think KJ has a huge opportunity. I think a year from now we'll be laughing and joking about how he ended up here. And this young man, in the first week that he's been here, has showed a lot of talent, a lot of promise, but mostly just an attitude of appreciation and gratitude. And a lot of times when you have that, you have tremendous success. But I believe this young man has a chance to be a high major player if he continues on this path. There's something in the water there. There's something in the sun or the air. I want to say there's like 9 players of Bahamian descent in the NBA currently. And so that's not an accident. You know, that's definitely, you know, something there. And so we want to continue to develop that talent.
The 242 looking to take the West Coast by storm for the upcoming season. Reporting for ZNS Total Sports, I'm Swanson Gibson Jr.
And finally, with the Caribbean Volleyball Championships set for this weekend, behind the scenes, crews have been hard at work to ensure the Kendall G. Lysick Gymnasium will be up and ready to go when the first whistle is blown. Our summer intern, Zaria Stapleton, catches up with the venue's manager in this report.
We're here at the Kendall Isaacs Gym viewing the preparations for the Caribbean Volleyball Championships that will be held this weekend. Numerous countries will be coming to participate within male and female divisions. This will be the first time that the Bahamas has hosted in 20 years.
You're sponsoring God Jalon Anderson and LOC of the Bahamas. We have do some minor repairs, air condition, painting locker rooms, refurbishing the office spaces. As you can see, we just put on a brand new state-of-the-art Olympic qualifying floor. Basic stuff.
Arthur explained the technicalities that came with installing the new court.
Yes, when we come to any international event, we have to follow guidelines from the international body. As you walk there, you can see the markings on the floor got to be right. So where we station and position our barricades, our chairs and stuff, because volleyball is a continuous play. You could run off the mat and still be playing.
The Bahamas is looking to defend home court this Saturday at the Kendall Isaacs Gym. Reporting for ZNS Total Sports, I'm Saria Stapleton.
Let's look at your sports on this Tuesday. I'm Amajal Knowles, signing out until tomorrow.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting tingsybahamas.com.
Well, it's now time for a weather check with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Again, good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Royston. Well, Aaron continues to intensify over the far eastern Atlantic, moving towards the west at about 17 miles per hour, and we expect Aaron to become a hurricane by tomorrow afternoon and a major hurricane as we head into the weekend. And by Sunday, we could see a Category 3 hurricane on our hands, but the models are suggesting that there will be a turn towards the north, and that northerly turn will keep Aaron well to the east of the Bahamas, and that should be the end of that as it will eventually move over some more cooler waters, and we will start to see some weakening once we get into the middle part of next week. Around Wednesday, we'll see some slow deterioration of that system. And our temperatures around the islands this evening: Marshall, Babaco at 84, 82 in Green Torquay, and also in Freeport, Grand Bahama, the Berry Islands, a little warm at 86, 85 in Alderstown, Bimini. Over in Harbor Island, 86 degrees. Rock Sandy Lutra, 83. Alderstown, Cat Island at 82 degrees. 85 in Black Point, Exuma, and Kemp Space, Los Andros. Fresh Creek in Central Andros at 84 degrees. 85 again in Georgetown, Exuma. Rummy Key and San Salvador, 82 degrees, 84 in Betsy Bay, Maguana, Crooked Island, Acklands, Clarence, San Long Island, and Ragged Island. Matchy, Nagua at 85, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 86 degrees. Satellite pictures showing some showers just to the west of Andros, also around the Grand Bahama and northern Abaco area as well, but high pressure remains dominant throughout the remainder of the central and southeastern Bahamas. Now, your forecast tonight, mainly clear but very warm with a low temperature of 81 degrees, so you certainly need those air conditions to keep yourself comfortable tonight. And then tomorrow, lots of sunshine with just a few clouds floating around. High temperature tomorrow, 91 degrees. And the extended weather forecast for the next 7 days, beautiful weather right through the weekend, despite the fact that Aaron is heading this way. But as you can see in our forecast, we're not expecting any effect from Aaron over the weekend. And as we head into the early part of next week, more sunshine. But by Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll have a couple of afternoon thunderstorms working their way into our forecast. Royston.
Of course, we'll continue to keep an eye on Aaron, but hoping, of course, for the best. Thank you so much, Basil. Well, that's going to do it for the Bahamas tonight at 11. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. Thank you for watching, and as always, good night.
At Tonic Williams Darling Highway, I'm Tijaro Hudson. This is ZNS.
I know I slept with your brother, but I'm sorry, Brad. It just happened.
So did Pearl Harbor, Monica. So did